Hello everyone, welcome back to the event digital class. In today's lecture of computer organization, we will discuss another concept of interface circuit, that is our serial port. In the parallel port, what is the advantages? Let me first tell you that in the parallel port simultaneously we can transfer multiple bits. Okay, that means in other word you can say that in the same point of time we can transfer multiple bits by using a single port. But the main disadvantages of parallel port is that we cannot use that to cover longer distance, or you can say when we have to transfer data for a long distance, then we cannot appropriate or we cannot prefer the parallel port. So in that case what we will do, we will use the another type of bus, that is our serial bus, and for that we have to use the concept of serial port. And serial means, what do you mean by that? That means one after another, that means one bit will be transferred after another bit is transferred, or you can say by multiplexing multiple bits we can transfer it into a single bit. Okay, then that is the concept of serial port. Okay, so we will discuss about serial port in today's lecture. So let's go to the details about serial port. So serial port is used to connect the processor to I/O devices that requires transmission of data one bit at a time. So basically the serial port is used to connect to the I/O device to with the processor when the device required to transfer the data one bit at a single point of time. That's why it is called as serial port. That means one bit, then after another bit, like this in a serially manner. Then the key feature of an interface circuit for a serial port is that it is capable of communicating in a bit serial fashion on the device side and in a bit parallel fashion on the bus side. So this type of interface circuit has one important feature, you can say, that is this type of interface circuit is capable of communicating both the fashions, whether it is serial or in the parallel. But the serial bus, or you can say the bits are transferred in a serial manner on the device side and the bits are transferred in the parallel format at the bus side. As we know that the interface circuit is placed in between the I/O device and the processor. Okay, so the device side is used the serial fashion and the bus side follows the parallel fashion, and then the transformation between the parallel and serial format is achieved with shift register that have parallel access capability. As we know that on the device side we are using the serial mode and on the bus side we are using the parallel mode of transmission. But that conversion of serial to parallel or parallel to serial is achieved or is possible when we use another concept, that is our shift register, and the shift register has the capability of transferring that by using the parallel access capability. Then we will describe this by using a figure, so that the input shift register accepts bit serial input from the I/O device. When all 8 bits have been received, the content of the shift register are loaded in parallel into the data in register. Okay. As I have already discussed in the parallel port that the data in, data out, S in, S out, that all registers are present in the interface circuit. Okay. So in this figure you can see there is an input shift register. So here is our I/O device, and from the device side the inputs are given in a serial format. Then this input shift register will receive that, and what is the next? The shift register accepts bit serial input from the IO device, and when all 8 bits have been received, that means the register accepts 8 bit at a single point of time, and then when that is received, then the content of the shift register are loaded in parallel into the data in register. That means in this diagram, when the input is given from the device to this input register, that is in the serial format, but when the data is transferred from this shift register to data in register, that is in the parallel format. Okay, then this input shift register, for doing that, that means to transfer 8 bits parallelly to the data in register, it has to receive 8 bit and it has to collect that 8 bit so that it can transfer or it can forward that 8 bit to this data in register. Okay, and then next point is our similarly output data in the data out register are loaded into the data out register, that is output register, from which the bits are shifted out and sent to the input and output devices. Okay, so here you can see the data in is received, and in between this you can see it is from D0 to D7, that means 8 bit is transmitted, and after transmission of this, then the data out register is received the data which need to be displayed in some output device, and from this data out register, the output shift register collects the data, and then this will be transferred serially manner to another output device. Then the status flag set to 1 when new data are loaded in data in. It is clear to 0 when the processor reads the content of data in. That means there is another register, that is our S in and S out. Okay, we have already discussed in the parallel port concept. You can go through that lecture, and inside the interface circuit it contains S in for the input status register and S out for the output status register. So that status flag, S in flag, will be set to 1 when new data are loaded in data in. So here data in is present, that means the S in register or the flag bit of S in will be set to 1 if the data is present in this data in register, and if that data in register is transferred, that means it is read by this processor, then the S in bit will be set to 0. Then the S out flag indicates whether the output path is important. With double buffer, the data transfer of the second character can begin as soon as the first character is loaded from the shift register into the data in register. Okay. So next one is our the S out flags indicates whether the output path is important with double buffer. That means the S out flag is used to indicate that whether the data has to be displayed in some output device or not, and it uses double buffer. That is basically that double buffer is used to transfer of the characters, and the transfer of the second character can begin as soon as the first character is loaded from the shift register. That means when we are entering the data from the input device, then it has to transfer that data to the shift register first, and then from the shift register it will go to the data in register. So when the second character will be given to the shift register, after the character which is in the shift register, it has to be shifted into the data in register, so that the shift register is free and we can load another character into that shift register. Then serial transmission is convenient for connecting devices that are physically far away from the computer. As I have told you in the first of my lecture that the main disadvantages of parallel communication is that we cannot prefer this type of transmission when we do the longer period of data transfer. That means when we need to cover large distance, then we cannot prefer the parallel transmission. So the serial transmission is important and it is advantageous to use for connecting devices that are far away from the computers. Then the speed of the transmission often given as a bit rate and it depends on the nature of the devices connected. So the speed of the transmission, or you can say when the data is transmitted from one place to another, that speed is often calculated by the nature of the device. That means when the device is connected to a computer system, the data transmission, or you can say the speed of the data transmission is basically completely depends on the nature of the device, whether it is a slow device or it is a faster device. Basically the data transmission is calculated by using the speed of slowest device. Then to accommodate a range of devices, a serial interface must be able to use a range of clock speeds. The circuit allows separate clock signals to be used for input and output operations for increased flexibility. Here you can see in this picture, this is chip and register select. So this is basically uses that ready, accept, address and read write, all of this. And there is a status and control register which I have already discussed, that the status and control register is used to see what is the status of the input and output data transmission, which I have told you that S in and S out. Okay. And the controls I have already discussed, that when the data transfer is placed, whether the operation is read operation or write operation, or you can say whether that is an interrupt operation, any type of instruction. So that control has to be given to the device. So that's why here is our interrupt request line. So interrupt also can be provided in between the data transfer. Then so to accommodate that, the circuit allows a separate clock signals to be used for input and output operations, because if we will fix the clock signals or fix the period of time to transfer the data, then we can easily do the operations in a more flexible way. Okay. Then a standard circuit that includes the feature of our example figure which I have displayed in my previous slide is known as universal asynchronous receiver transmitter, that is our UART. Okay. So we this figure which I have displayed, so this is the example of UART, that is our universal asynchronous receiver transmitter. So it is intended for use with low speed serial devices. So we have discussed that in the serial port the data are transmitted bit by bit to the shift register, but when the data is transmitted from the shift register to data in, that is in the parallel way. That means the overall 8 bits, as we have transmitted one character at a time, that means 8 bit will be transmitted. So 8 bit means as the character stores 1 byte information, that means 8 bit. So 8 bit will be transmitted parallelly to the data in register, because we have to transmitted one character at a single point of time. We cannot transmit the half of the character first, then will next character, because I have already discussed that it is an encoder and decoder circuit which transmits the input which is received or which is transmitted to the processor. That means if let keyboard we pressed simple small a, then that will be transmitted to its ASCII value by using the encoder circuits, and the ASCII value is our let 65, and that 65 will be transferred into its binary value, or you can say the combination of ones and zeros, and that ones and zeros will be transmitted to the shift register one by one. Okay, and then after collecting all of the 8 bits, that register will transfer 8 bits at a single point of time to the data in register, so that in the data in register we are having the binary value of 65, which is the ASCII value of small a, and after transmission of one character from shift register to data in register, another character can be transmitted from the input device to the shift register. Okay, and what is the advantages of serial port? Serial port we can prefer when one device is far away from another device. But what is the disadvantages of serial port? As we transmit one bit of data at a single point of time, then the speed of transmission will be slower. But in the parallel, as we transfer more amount of bits at a single point of time, then the data transfer is speed as compared to the serial port. Okay. So next concept is our standard I/O interface. So the processor bus is the bus which is defined by the signals on the processor chip itself. Okay, and the devices that requires a very high speed connection to the processor, such as the main memory, may be connected directly to this bus. Okay, so there may be some device which is connected to the processor which needs high speed connection. Okay, and let's that device is our main memory. So this type of device has to be connected directly to the bus. For more electrical reasons, only a few devices can be connected in this manner. If we will connect all the devices to the bus directly, then the bus may be overloaded. So to avoid that, some devices which needs high speed connection, that has to be connected to the bus directly, and then the motherboard usually provides another bus that can support more device. As we cannot connect all the device to the bus, then, or you can say that bus is our processor bus. So the motherboard provides another bus, and there are some other bus except that processor bus, by using which we can support or we can connect multiple devices to the computer system. And the two buses are interconnected by a circuit which we'll call a bridge. That means the buses has to be interconnected, and for doing that, or you can say to place that interconnection, we have to implement one circuit, and that interconnected circuit is called as bridge. And the bridge is the concept which is used to connect two buses, and that translates the signals and protocols of one bus into those of the other. So that bridge will transfer the data from one bus to another bus, because there are two buses let, and one bus may follow some different signals and different rules and regulations, and another buses is different from that bus, but the bridge connect that two buses, and the two buses both are different from each other on the basis of the transmission of signals and also the protocols, and the bridge is connected that two buses, and also it translates whatever the signals and protocols from one bus to another bus. Then devices are connected to the expansion bus appear to the processor as if they were connected directly to the processor's own bus. So the devices which are connected to these different other buses than the processor bus, that has no idea that they are connected with some other bus, not with the processor bus, because the buses which connects these devices, they appear to the processor as they are the buses of the processor one, or it acts as the processor bus, where it actually not. Then the only difference is that the bridge circuit introduces a small delay in data transfers between the processor and those devices. So as it acts as the processor bus, but the difference is that the devices which are directly connected to the processor bus and the devices which are connected to the processor by using some other buses, the data transfer rate is different, and the bus which, or you can say the device which is directly connected to the processor bus gets high speed data transfer than the buses which are connected through the bridge. So, that is the one and only difference, that the bridge circuit introduces some delay, and the devices which are connected to the processor bus directly, or that is our high speed connections, that overcomes that delay, and this is the complete information about our I/O interface. So, there are some standard I/O interfaces which will be followed if some other device is need to be connected to the processor, as we cannot connect all the devices to the processor directly. Okay. So, for that reason we have to follow the standard I/O interface. I hope you all get about the serial port, parallel port, and all about the interface circuit. If you have any doubt, you can mention it in the comment box, and in the next lecture we will discuss some other buses like PCI bus, SCSI bus, USB bus, and some other. So, till then keep watching. Thank you.